the no 5th-year option action, huh?
No one can be surprised by that.
Nah,
Not
I
even
mean, of
him,
course
man.
not. I mean, you would think that. You would.
Yeah,
but
if
I did
Edmonds
see
didn't
people
get
make a case. I saw people trying to make a case for, oh, man, well, he was all right his first year. He looked like he was about to turn the corner his second year. Then he was hurt. So, that's the reason why. But they picked up Bud Dupree's option. I'm like, Bud was still playing. Bud still he just wasn't living up to his full potential, but he still was contributing. And then we saw, obviously, what he did in that 5th year and then so forth to get the franchise tag. But, yeah, that was one of the ones where I was just like, man, I just don't see how you could do that,
No, especially not. So I'm looking at it right here.
Yeah.
It's a Brooke Pryor
And I'll just go ahead and
article.
pull it up too, man, since we're already kind of on the topic anywho, man.
He was set to make almost $11 million on the option year.
Yeah.
So Steelers aren't stressing that if Devin Bush does play really well and we do have to sign him as an unrestricted free agent, I mean, because I don't think his per year number is going to be more than that.
Right.
There's no way. Like, Devin Bush cannot play that good to where he's up to the 13, 14 million. There's no way.
Based off of one season,
Yeah.
I would agree. And if anything, you transition tag him instead of franchise tagging him. So that way it's a little bit cheaper. And you just roll with the dice of that way. So at least you're going to get some type of compensation back. But I don't think that his play had warranted that as a whole. Not even talking about last year. Just when you think about what he did his first 2 years before he got hurt, it still wasn't to the point where we were looking and saying, oh, he has answered our call. He is the reason why this is why we took him at 10th overall. That was not the sentiment surrounding him. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm not surprised by this at all. I think that it made the most sense for the Steelers to decline his 5th-year option, even more so than Edmonds last year. We thought with Edmonds, it wasn't that he wasn't playing well or being available. It was just we thought we could get him cheaper. Now, we didn't think we can get him as cheap as we did in terms of the 1 year, 2.5 mil, but we definitely felt that we could get him at a cheaper cost than that 5th-year option. And with Devin, if Edmonds signed back for 2.5, Bush better play a lot better this year. Otherwise, my man taking a vet mid. Best case scenario, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Well, I'm even talking on the open market. I don't think there's any team that's going to be paying him double digits.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, why would you pay him that type of money right now? Even if he came out here and balled out this year, why would you pay him that type of money? Like, I guess I'm not surprised by
these
that.
5th-year options are supposed to be a way for the teams to secure the rights for a player, kind of on a discount.
Correct.
The first rounder that went off, almost like TJ Watt.
Absolutely.
We got the 5th year. All right, we got him. Now we got to figure out maybe some type of extension.
Right.
Whereas with Devin Bush, it just doesn't add up at all.
Yeah.
Business-wise. Like, no. Why pay him $10 million next year? When we could probably sign him. Let's say he does do good.
Yeah.
We could probably sign him for like a 2-year deal for... I don't know, man. 2 years, like the Miles Jack deal. Isn't Miles Jack?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie.
Was it Miles Jack 2 years, 16, eight apiece?
I'm not gonna lie. If he balled out, I need to see it again. I'm 1 year and I'm tagging him, bro. I'm either giving him a 1 year deal or I'm gonna tag him on a transition tag. I don't even want a franchise tag.
But you even get what I'm saying. Even if it is a multi-year deal, it'll be less than the $10 million per year that you'd be giving him the 5th year option. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That doesn't make, This made the most sense for the Steelers, man. It definitely, like I said, and the reason I asked TG too at the end, in the sense of like, how do we think Devin responds? Because we have seen, where with Devin at times, he doesn't read the room. He doesn't read the situation the best. And I just, I was really thinking like, is he going to look at this as, oh man, this is fine. Like, ain't nothing wrong with this. Kind of like when Buddy Johnson was getting snaps. He's like, oh yeah, it's good that he's getting some reps. It's like, no, this is a actual game that counts and you guys are trying to come back. No. And no, you don't want to rotate. No, you don't want the green dot taken off. No, these are not good.
Yes, you should know the team you're playing next week.
Right. Oh, that part as well, So I'm just hoping that with this, it's more so the light switch comes on and he says, yo, I'm pissed. Let me go out here and prove myself that I'm not only worth this, but worth more than that. Very similar to when Bud Dupree talked about that on the show, man. When they declined his option, he was pissed. He was heated about it. And it was like, bro, forget all that, man. You know what you got to go out there and do. You know what I'm saying? Or excuse me, not they didn't want to give him the long-term deal and they ultimately
the
franchised him. Yeah. And it was like, yo, like go out there and do what you got to do, bro. If you ball out, you will get that check. You know what I mean? And it was more so that energy. Whereas, it could have very well been, you know what, I'm pissed. I ain't even going to play hard. I'm going to just try not to get hurt and I'm going to do what I do. I F them. And you could take that approach. So I've seen guys take that and that doesn't work out the best way either. But that's one of them things, man, where it's just like, I'm really curious to see how he responds to this because anything prior to this has been more speculation. When we talk about our opinions of his play versus the team's opinion of him, we could say at times, man, they're fine with it. They're putting him out there. And then we see him rotate at times like, okay, maybe they're a little upset, but they still feel confident. We hear people talk about, man, he only played bad last year because of the knee. I do think that them declining this option shows that it's a little bit more than the knee. Because if their biggest hangup was, oh, he was just hurt last year and that's why he played bad, you don't mind picking up that 5th-year option and saying, hey, I know this guy's going to develop and turn right back into what we thought he could be. But when you see them say, nah, I'm cool on that, I think to me that they looked and said, man, we know that he has to do this and this. He has to improve in there and there and there. And that's not just knee related. And I think that this is more so just the factual element of it. Whereas, like I said, prior to this happening, in terms of the Steelers declining that 5th-year option, it was more so speculation, man. But like I said, I definitely hope Devin responds in a positive way to this news, man.
He's gonna have to, or he's gonna be on an Artie Burns career trajectory here.
Well, because that was the conversation. It's like, is he one of the worst first-round draft picks for Kevin Colbert? They were comparing him to Jarvis Jones, Artie Burns, and Terrell Edmonds in the sense of 4 first-rounders.
Edmonds is in that mix.
Well, no, because those were the 4 that they declined the 5th-year option on. So that was why. Because the other guys, it was like, bro, Shazier.
Because Ziggy Hood was worse than Edmonds.
Right, but it was like all these other guys where they accepted the 5th-year option. It's like, all right, well, these guys are quality. I get that. But that was the conversation surrounding Bush in the sense of because what you did to get him. Ziggy wasn't the 10th overall selection.
No, I think he was the last pick.
Last pick, absolutely. Ziggy, they didn't trade up to get, same with Edmonds, same with Jarvis, same with Artie. Whereas with Devin, we traded up to the top 10 to get this guy. So the expectations were a lot higher in contrast to all those other guys. And that was more so, why they talked about him in the sense of is he, that guy? Does he fall on that list as the worst first round draft pick right now? I was like,
not right
that's
now.
rough, dude.
I wouldn't say
put
right
him
now.
There. Yeah.
But yeah, he does have to play good this year, or else he will be legitimately in the conversation. Because Artie Burns, after his 4th year, he just 1 year deal with the Bears or something.
Yeah, well, he's still out there, but he got hurt, and then they brought him back. So.
I don't know. He's been just pretty much irrelevant. So for Devin Bush, your NFL career's on the line this year. Pretty much is.
Without a doubt, man.
Because Burns, Burns is pretty much over. I mean, he might get a year here or there.
Because like I said, he tore the ACL last year, so that's the only reason why.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why he didn't play last year. Yeah, he tore it. He signed with the Bears and then tore it in the first week of OTA's minicamp time frame, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Because some other team would probably take a chance on you just because of your first round pedigree. Yeah. Exactly. But man, if you can't get it together here, because you're gonna have everything around. Yeah. If Tuitt's back, you're gonna have basically everything around you here to have success. Yeah. Already a stud linebacker next to you, a really good defensive line if we're all healthy and Tuitt's back. Solid corners, Minka Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt. You're going to have everything here.
I would agree.
Unless it is as simple as what TG said and he's just not fit for the 3-4.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm still trying to see him in a 4-3. I'm as the Mike, he's still going to be a little small there.
Him as the second linebacker here should work because that's what worked his rookie year. Whenever who was it? Vince Williams taking most of the calls. Mark Barron was in there too. And he had a really solid rookie year. So if Miles Jack is the guy for us and Devin Bush is the second guy he could be flying around out there, that should work. If that can't, then we got to move on.
I would agree.
But yeah,
it's going to be interesting, though, man. It's definitely going to be interesting, though, with that.
No surprise is the decline 5th-year option. And we're all rooting for Bush. I want him to do well. And that's the obviously.
Thing, too, yeah. It's never a thing where we're we don't want this guy to get paid. We think he sucks. We don't want him to be here. It's no, we want him to step up. We want him to live up to that. But when you're just talking from a business perspective, it just makes zero sense to pick up that option, based on the money associated with it and the productivity and the lack thereof. And even just the consistency, and when you have to question effort at times, we talked about last year on tape, was it's times where this is not knee related. This is want to. This is a desire thing. And that's when we had the whole conversation about, you say you want to make a play, but you're doing everything that's counterproductive to doing that. Why pay a guy like that? Now, hopefully, he turns the corner and now we can have a conversation of, was it just because it was a contract year? Was it a one-hit wonder year? Or if he's really developed? And then that'd be a great conversation to have.
You're still not paying him over $10 million.
Not at all.
Anyway.
Not at all. But that was the Bud Dupree conversation. Remember when he balled out on the tag, it was okay, did he just... Or no, he balled out that final year, and then he balled out on the tag, and he obviously got hurt on the tag at the end of it. But it was okay, the tag year proved that it wasn't a one-year thing. It showed that he's definitely turned the corner. with D Bush, I feel the same way. It's like, I need to see you do it this year, and then I need to see you do it again before I'm willing to commit long term, like multi-year type money to him, man.